Search the museum for the tablet fragment.
This glitch lets you move a little bit during the animation that's played when you first enter Noir's dimension. It's pretty easy but doesn't really save much time, only like a second or two. And it can also make the movement right after a bit harder, so it might not always be worth doing. To perform this glitch, you enter the portal, and then after the screen turns fully black, start holding A and B. It's not a very precise timing, I forgot exactly what it was, but I think you got like around a half-second window after the screen turns black to start holding the buttons. Everyone who does this glitch also holds right, along with A and B, so that's completely optional since you end up in the exact same spot either way. Once you've zipped up to the ledge, you successfully did the glitch.
I've discovered a dimensional...
This glitch is similar to the one with Noir, but it just completely skips the cutscene, saving around 6.9 seconds. It's also unfortunately much harder. It essentially requires a frame-perfect button press at 30 FPS, so you get 1/30th of a second, or roughly a 33 millisecond window to press the button for the trick to work. Luckily there's no risk in attempting this glitch though. You either get it and save time, or you don't get it and lose no time. To do this glitch, you enter the portal, then you get two options. The first one is the most common, and to do this one, you spam the enter portal button and hope you get it. If you're good at spamming the button fast, this can get somewhat consistent, but generally this trick is going to take multiple tries to get. The second way is a lot less common, but could be even better than the other one with practice. For this one, you time the button instead of spamming it. The timing for repressing the enter portal button is right before the screen has fully faded to black, like shown in the video example. In both methods, once you've done the previous steps, you should be at Noir still with the cutscene audio still playing, and the last step is simply enter the portal. Now you've successfully done the glitch.
Moving on.
Well done, Miguel. It is now time to aid the hero, your people.
So this trick gives you an extra damage upgrade that you normally wouldn't be able to get until after Silvermane, and by then it would likely take too much time to go get it for it to be worth it. The skip is also a bit weird. I'm currently the only one to do it, and we're not exactly sure if it even saves time. There's many different setups to do the skip, but I'll show the one I do since it's like the exact same speed as setupless, and is also pretty consistent for me. First step is coming up to this spot, and make sure you don't break this object in front of you. If you accidentally break it, you should have the save right before here, so you can just reload. The save right before here is also a pretty good way to practice this skip. Once you come up here, go as close to the breakable object as you can, and hold down plus left and do a quick A plus B tap to perfectly align yourself while zipping down. Now when you're getting pulled by the web, let go of all buttons and wait until the screen transition. Once the screen moved down, you gotta time a web swing. The timing for the swing is around when Spidey's here. It's a pretty tight frame window, but it's not too bad. Now just hold the web swing button, and if you did it correctly, you should swing right up into the damage upgrade. Having this extra damage upgrade does give you more damage, but if that extra damage doesn't allow for the enemies to take less hits to be defeated, it's kinda useless. It's a bit complicated since your momentum affects your damage, but in some situations having the extra damage does allow for some enemies to be defeated faster. And even if it didn't, it would likely be better to replace getting one of the slower previous damage upgrades with this one. So is it worth it? Well, maybe. The skip can also be really inconsistent. If you can do this one really consistently, then it's probably worth it. But if it's not consistent, then you can always still go for it and lose a few seconds if you miss it. You definitely don't need the skip to get a competitive time though, since it might not even save time. The sequence break allows you to fight Electro way earlier than intended, and is one of, if not the biggest time save in the speedrun. Luckily it's not that hard. There's two main ways of doing it, setupless and with a setup. They're pretty much the same thing, except with setupless you just throw yourself at it and hope you can time it correctly. But with the setup, you line yourself up first. So to do it with a setup, you climb up to the spot on the wall and do a full jump while holding left. Once you've made it around here, web zip down and left. It's not a very precise web zip, and should be pretty easy to perform. To do it setupless, instead of climbing up carefully to the spot on the wall, you just web zip up there and time a jump off the wall. This one skips the conduit you would normally need to get across the gap to Calypso, which is a pretty big time save. It's not super hard to perform, but can give some struggles. Luckily there's really quick backups that are arguably easier than the skip itself. To perform it, first come up here and then jump off. Personally I do a small jump, but like everyone else does a big jump, which is actually probably faster since a bigger jump generates more speed. Once you've jumped off with a big or small jump, you gotta time a web swing, and you're probably gonna have to mess with this yourself and figure out the timing, but try to time a web swing around when Spidey's here. I use the background as a visual cue. Make sure you're also holding up and right the entire duration of the web swing, or else you won't generate enough speed. I find staying kinda close to the left wall makes the skip easier, but you can be a bit away from the wall and have it still work. There's also two other ways of doing the skip, one setupless way and another mostly setupless, which saves a bit of time, but they're both more inconsistent than the previously mentioned way of doing it. Wolf Moment 420 also has his own guide to the trick, and he does it a bit differently from me, so you should also check out that, which I linked in the description. If you miss the skip, there's also a quick backup strategy, which you could also use as your main strategy if you find it more consistent. You can scale the wall by full jumping and zipping back towards the wall. Once you're near the top, Spidey will automatically pull himself up. This can probably also be done easier and faster by air dodging, but normally you only have that in full arsenal or unstoppable mode. This skip saves more or less 15 seconds, and is also by far the hardest skip in the speedrun. Because of the skip's inconsistency, most of the time it's probably not worth going for, since even top runners are inconsistent with it. To perform the skip, come over to this spot on the ceiling, and web zip down right. Then after a bit, web swing up plus right, while holding B. When you get about here, we used to hold up plus left, but after some testing it doesn't appear to actually make a difference, so I probably wouldn't do this step. Once Spidey is past this point, and is somewhat upside down, switch to holding down plus right so the web extends, pushing him upwards. Now once you've gotten onto the other screen, you can try and immediately web zip, or continue holding down plus right for a tiny bit longer before web zipping to get a bit more height. This one can also be made easier by air dodging, but that's normally only in full arsenal and unstoppable mode. This trick can be pretty tough to get for your first time, but after that it should get more consistent. That's all for this video. If you have any questions or want to hang out, we have a Discord server which I linked in the description. Thanks for watching.